Hello, friends. It's me, Charlotte, all by myself. I am making a super awkward introduction to the podcast because this is the one that we recorded quite some time ago. I would say back March 20th. We recorded this on March 20th, and for reasons mostly beyond our control, this never made it to air. So we hid it away. We thought we had one, and we did have one. So we hid it away for a day like today because we also recorded a podcast a few days ago to post today. This is all very confusing. This is like Star Trek time traveling stuff. But we recorded one with a very special guest. I think it was a particularly hilarious podcast. And due to technical difficulties, we'll call them, we couldn't get it posted today. And there's a motorcycle driving by, which drives me crazy. Also, another note from our podcast from a few days ago, which you'll hear next week. So, I just wanted to give you the heads up that this was recorded some time ago, what you're about to hear, what follows. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. But please enjoy, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.
Podcast. Party podcast. Sorry, I didn't want to call up potty. Yeah. Charlotte counted in. We both hit record at the same time. That's how we coordinate. It's very technical. And she counted in with a full 5 numbers, which we both agreed was a little excessive.
It was just a long time. Once you start the 5-second countdown, like you realize that's a long way to go.
You realize it's a lot of seconds, but
Yeah.
you can't stop because, it'd be like.
By the time you stop and go, wow, that was a lot of seconds, I mean, then you just wasted all the time you would have saved by just counting from 3 in the first place.
I'm really glad you saw that far ahead. That's like exactly what would have happened.
So there's a countdown that I have to do in my experiments, a 5-second, well, again, it doesn't have to be 5 seconds, but I just need to do something, and someone who's working the computer has to press enter that exact moment. But
Right.
for that, we're sitting in the same room looking at each other, so I always start at 5 and then I realize, and so I just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So it's not like the best countdown, but
Yeah.
they see that they hear the numbers decreasing, so they know what's about to happen.
Right, but I mean, I would argue, and I'm not saying you don't agree with this, is the importance of a countdown is the rhythm, so that you know when the unspoken number is going to come, right?
Yeah, I mean, that timing is not that it's not milliseconds crucial.
I
Although,
got you.
really, is ours, I guess ours is, because, when you glue the two together, do you have to shift them a little bit?
No, never.
Yeah, because of the accuracy of the countdown.
Yeah, for real. And I mean,
So-
we've discovered in the past that there is a little bit of a latency on our phone connection here. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it always lines up as well as it does. Just
Well,
because we are
that's just the
professional.
nature. Yeah, because our microphones don't have the delay, it's our phones.
Yeah, but
Wrap your head around that. I can't. You know what? Today, my supervisor was trying to talk to me about, it was like a combo physiology math conversation. So we had calculated a variable under 2 different scenarios in 2 different groups.
right.
But then we were discussing, so we found something that was a little bit unexpected. So we were trying to figure out if we found what we found because of physiology or because of math. Or
Okay.
both. And finally I just looked at him and I went, you know what? I just can't do this right now. I'm gonna go back up to my office, okay? He just went, okay.
And so we just left it alone and came
I
back
just
to it
walked
like another
away.
day?
No. Yeah. I'm sure we'll come back to it eventually.
All right.
But there just came a point where I was just staring at him blankly, and he's looking at me trying to encourage, like your cat to jump up on the couch when you're like, come on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't want to jump up. He's trying to get me to figure out what's going on, and I just was staring at him like, no, I'm not jumping up on that couch right now.
I know that look. I'm very familiar. Yeah. Speaking of counting things in, I'm just reminded of a funny instance where I was playing in a band one time and we were playing a song that was in 3/4 time, and the lead singer went, "All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, bump, bump, bump." It's just really funny.
That's an example of a musician's joke. I guarantee that 90% of the people sitting at home just went, uh-huh.
Okay, I was thinking of explaining the difference between 3/4 time and 4/4 time before I told
Please
that
do
joke.
explain to the people how you would count in those two songs differently.
Okay, and we're gonna have to edit this. I'm kidding, we won't. So 3/4 time is like boom, boop, 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 boop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kind of like
a waltz.
like a waltz, exactly like a waltz. And 4/4 is like everything else. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, right?
So what? You were playing a waltz in this bar?
No, it was just a song that was in 3/4 time, like Piano Man.
Play us a song, you're the piano man. 1, 2, 3,
Who was
1,
counting in the
2.
Piano Man going 1, 2, 3, 4?
That's the joke. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. It
But
works.
I feel like I can't picture any songs in 3/4 time that would even encourage a 1, 2, 3.
No, you go 1, 2, 3. Boom, 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 boom. No, I counted that.
Well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
it. You just don't yell it, is my point. It's more of a, hello, everybody. Let's count in 1, 2, 3.
No, you were just it has nothing to do with volume.
I think it's got everything to do with volume. That's my point. It's the mood of the counting.
No, but Charlotte? Who's the musician here? Who?
Hey, I play piano. You taught me how to play a song on bass once.
That I did. Seven
I
Nation
was in
Army.
the choir. Hey, I was an instrument. I know how to play the clarinet and the flute.
Still, Charlotte.
I'm just saying, I'm not a musician.
All right. Well, then, as a not musician, I can assure you, I'm arguing my point that volume has nothing to do with it.
I think it's part of the humor in the story.
All right.
Are there any rambunctious songs in 3/4 time? Is my point.
I think Piano Man's pretty rambunctious.
It's not rambunctious. I'm
gets
talking about
there.
like the Ramones. Do the Ramones have any songs in 3/4 time? What has Rage Against the Machine ever done a song in 3/4 time?
Yeah, I suppose. So what's your point?
My point is that I see your point that he counted incorrectly.
Yeah.
But my new point is that I think that he was even if he had counted to 3 properly, he was already off on the wrong foot by screaming it because you're in 3/4 time, bud. Get the mood right. We're waltzing here.
Okay. All right. I won't disagree with that, but I mean still, you're yelling off mic, right? Like this. And you go, all right,
Like
lads,
Bill Burr.
we read exactly like Bill, my secret's out. But yeah, you go, okay, here we go on a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom, 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 boom. All right. I'll stop. It does sound a little ridiculous now that I do it, but still, you can say it at whatever level you want. You're shouting across the stage.
I don't think you can.
Well, all right then.
Let's talk about Bill Burr for a second.
Let's talk about Bill Burr for a second.
Bill Burr, if you don't know, has a podcast. We need to start getting Jacqueline and Alain on here, and anyone else who's got recommendations for good podcasts to listen to. I think you've already cited the Jay and Dan podcast a couple times.
Yeah.
Which was really the main podcast that I've gotten into. And their Jay and Dan were anchors on SportsCenter, if you don't know. I'm sure everyone knows that, right? We always used to watch them in the morning getting ready for school on TSN. And they're hilarious. And then they moved down to the States, and now they're on Fox Sports 1. So we can't watch their sportscast, but they have clips online, and they continue to do their podcast down there.
And they are, as a non-real sports, well, I don't watch sports. Even the clips I see when you guys play them, they're pretty hilarious.
Yeah, they're just dummies, which is good.
Yeah.
That's sort of the model for our podcast. We're just dummies.
Just dummies kind of jawing at you for a little while.
So then Dave was telling me that Bill Burr, I don't even know, who the hell is Bill Burr? If you were to describe to me who Bill Burr is. Is he a comedian?
Yeah, he's a comedian, stand-up comedian.
So he's a comedian. Boston. I think he's from Boston, right?
Yeah.
New York?
Yeah.
Boston. And he's got a podcast, and he's hilarious. If you don't like swearing, don't listen to his podcast, because he swears a lot, and he doesn't bleep it out.
There's a lot of cursing He gets kind of insane sometimes. I shouldn't really like. It's a great podcast. I mean, you know what you're getting when you listen to a Bill Burr podcast. It's
great. He's got a lot of rage. I love him.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's a man after my own heart.
And you get the feeling, especially after you listen more and more, like, you know, Bill's not, from what I've inferred anyways from listening, like, he's not a rageaholic in real life. He seems like he's a very kind, conscientious guy in real life, for the most part.
I think there's a difference between being a rageaholic and having a lot of rage. Like, things just, you know, this always bothers me when I, like, get riled up about things, and, like, it's fairly easy to get me riled up because I have opinions about things.
Right.
And like, if I go off about something that pisses me off, and then people go, "Gee, Charlotte, tell us how you really feel." Like, what the like, it's not my problem that you don't have opinions about things.
Yeah.
Like, things get me excited. I guess the nice way to think about it is that I'm passionate. Perhaps the other way to think about it is that I'm crazy. But whatever, I don't know, whatever. I care about things. I get riled up.
Well, it's fun to get riled up, and I'm kind of the same way. I like just kind of flipping out and having a good time with it sometimes. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why one of my pet peeves is when people say "calm down." I hate when they're getting told to calm down. That is the fastest way to rile me up, is to tell me to calm down. Honestly. Or quiet down or something like that. Or shush me. Oh, my God.
Telling someone to calm down, like, accomplishes nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly.
You're kind of just, like, reverse what you're doing right now. Instead of trying to, like, help them steer into the skid, you're like, you should just like, hit the brakes as hard as you can and swerve a lot.
For sure. The funny thing is that people know that I hate getting told to calm down, and then they do it to, like, poke the bear, like, just to rile me up, like, as a way of entertaining themselves. And even if I know that someone is doing it to piss me off, it still pisses me off. That's how bad it is.
And that is why we do that when we're all hanging out as a family, everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so Bill Burr. Kids, if you need a new podcast to go listen to Bill Burr. And we'll try to get you some more podcast recommendations in the future.
It's called the Monday Morning Podcast, by the way.
Yeah. And he's on SoundCloud. I tried to go in and like some of his things. I don't know if I did it. Because can you just like the Monday Morning Podcast in general, or do you have to like individual ones? I guess you're hurting them. You're hurting them in SoundCloud.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I think you can make favorites, but I'm not sure if you can do it on a channel or if it's individual stuff.
You know, there's sometimes I really, really, really feel old, and people just do things. And, you know, today we were practicing posters for a presentation, and the one girl had, like, you know those weird barcodey things that are square that you can scan, and it, like, I don't even know what it does. I've never, ever scanned one in my life.
Yeah.
But she had one on her academic poster. She's like, yeah, it'll send you to the Faculty of Phys Ed webpage or something like that. She's like, man, who are you? Where am I? What year is this?
I don't really get those either. I think you just get an app that scans them, and then they'll take you places. I think
honestly,
that's the idea.
something, right?
Yeah.
It's like how people had to explain to me how Snapchat fits into your life. I still don't really get it. If you've got Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, why the Snapchat? And, like, you take a fun picture. Now, how do you decide where to post it? Whether it goes on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram? Or do you just put it on all of the above? Like, how are you... It's already... If I take a picture, do I tweet it or do I put it on Facebook? It's hard to say.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't even have Instagram because I can't deal with that. That's another thing. Because if I put a picture on Instagram, if I got Instagram, then am I going to put it on Twitter? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you can sync it because you see people's pictures pop up on Facebook that were posted via Instagram, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And maybe people sync, like, their Twitters and their Facebooks and their Instagrams, so everyone sees everything. That seems to me like it'd be the best way to do it if you did have all of them.
But heaven forbid you follow that person on all of those mediums.
Right. But, I mean, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Like, you go on Instagram, you're like, oh, there's that thing. And you go on Twitter, you're like, oh, there's that thing again. And you just kind of keep scrolling.
Yeah, but what you like it on Facebook, and then it pops up on Twitter. Do you retweet it there, and then it comes up on Instagram? Or you like, I don't know, do you like things on it? Whatever you do on Instagram, do you do that there?
If it's really good, then maybe you do. Maybe on Facebook you give it a like out of pity, and then on Twitter you're like, oh, just get the out of here with that. And then, you know what I mean? That's
Maybe
a good way of weeding
tired,
out.
but that seems like a lot of work.
It's content thrice filtered, you know?
I suppose.
I'm just totally just making this up.
We need to get like a young person on here to explain this to us.
Charlotte,
I feel
believe
very old today.
I believe your co-host still qualifies as a young person, all right?
I don't think you do. You're over 25. You're not in the young person category anymore.
I wasn't even young when I was young.
Hey, Dave, what does SMH stand for?
I believe...
You don't know. So
No, I
you're not
don't.
a young,
I do.
Why?
Why?
You're not a young person.
Why? No, I totally know. It means smack my head, I believe.
Smack my head? And
Yeah.
everyone uses this.
As in, like, you smack your head in, like, frustration. Like, someone says something like, actually, whales are mammals. And you're just, oh, my God. You know? Even though that's a wonderful fact. And did you guys know that whales aren't fish? They're mammals.
I feel like people do know that.
Yeah. And SMH, yeah. I think it's smack my head. Dean said it was something else.
Maybe no one knows. Maybe it's not that I'm old. Maybe just no one knows what it means, and we're all just using it.
Hang on. I'm booting up the Googles.
Here's the thing, though. How many people were saying SMH? You know? Like,
Oh,
did we need a short form for that?
Shake my head. Shake my head.
I guess. Even that. I don't know. I wasn't really using that a lot beforehand. I don't need a short form for that.
I suppose. But, I mean, sometimes it's fun to get, like, a new word. The kids these days are saying basic. Have you heard that one?
Yeah. That's all over BuzzFeed, so that's why I'm onto that one.
Yeah, there you go. See, you're still kind of, well, I mean, you're not that young.
I mean, I know what it means. I'm not using it, though.
Yeah. And have you heard, oh, gosh, what was this one? Damn it. It was...
What was that? Was that you singing, trying to remember what you were thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, I have... Okay, so we played a gig for St. Paddy's Day, and two of our buddies that used to come see us at another bar we used to play at came out to this gig, and they were saying about, like, as in things they were like. They were like, yeah, we're... Dave told us he was playing at this bar on St. Paddy's Day, and it was like, yeah, we're about that. We're about that. And so we decided to come out. I was like, all right. And you know what I mean? So I guess about that is like saying like you're into something, you're keen on something, whatever.
I feel like we used to say all about that. I'm all about that. But they got rid of the all.
But, I mean, it wouldn't be quite as, like, slang and casual, right? Like, you'd say it more like, oh, man, you go mountain climbing? I'm all about mountain climbing.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is more of like, where do you guys want to go tonight for drinks? Do you want to go to this bar? Yeah, I'm about that.
Weird.
That's kind of how I think it's used.
I think I'm getting really old and really bitter. Just stop. And in general, too, I like new, like, phrasing and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of people that want English to stay the same, but I think it's cool that it changes. I think we've talked about my affinity for stupider and funner, and Mom hates that. More fun.
Yeah.
More stupid.
Yeah.
But I think something definitely can be funner than something else.
Well, and at the risk of getting all pedant here, I mean, that's how the English language became what it is today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because lots of words were invented by, like, Shakespeare and Chaucer, were they not?
Yeah, I want to say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone just told me that the other day that Shakespeare invented, and they had some sort of number for some sort of... He invented quite a few words.
We'll have to put that on our follow-up, because I've read lists like that before, and because I'm a moron, I don't remember any of them. But you just look at a list like that, and you see all the terms that Shakespeare kind of coined, and you're just like, wow, that's neat. And, he created them out of necessity, much as, well, not necessarily necessity, but out of just, like, the way he wanted to speak. And that's kind of how you get all these sort of textual terms. They're half necessity because SMH is like, quick and easy to write. And, it conveys something that you wouldn't otherwise be able to convey over text. Shaking my head. How are they going to know you're shaking your head unless you write SMH?
You could have written tisk tisk. That's what you would have written back in my day.
Yeah, but tisk tisk is a little, well, I guess SMH is judgy too. But that's just the thing.
It's totally. Totes judge.
Tisk tisk is like, I mean, if someone texted that to me, I'd be like, well, this person's got to be at least 34 years old.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely an old person thing, right?
Yeah.
No one's ever texted SMH to me. I just see it on the internet. Someone ever texted that to me, I would probably text them back, tisk tisk. Okay, Dave, I haven't even said welcome back, but I don't have time to give you an official welcome. So how about I just say, guys, I forgot to give you a song of the day, a TOP song of the day last week. So I got a TOP song of the day for you this week. Did you say tisk tisk?
I did.
SMH. So I have one for you that I was listening to when I walked home today. And not when I walked home. When I walked to school today. Honestly, you don't care when I was listening to it, whatever. So this is, I think, a pretty good TOP song. It's not necessarily inspirational in the lyrics, but I feel like you get a good strut on. And this is incidentally an excellent workout song, too. The song is called Work, and it's by Sierra featuring Missy Elliott. Dave, do you know this song?
I do not.
It's pretty good. Yeah, they yell work a whole bunch of times in the chorus.
Okay.
Work. I don't know. It's pretty good. I recommend it. And I defy you to listen to it while you're walking anywhere. And like you have to be walking pretty fast to get your stride and sync to the song. But like, man, if you get your stride in pace with that song, you're good. You're gold. That's a strut.
All right.
That's a strut.
All right.
No one's SMHing at you when you're walking to that song. So Work, Sierra featuring Missy Elliott, guys. Go give her a listen.
We'll give you guys a second to go listen to that song because it's time to hear from here's another Burrism lady.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
And Work by Sierra. Good song, no?
I thought of one more thing about me hating technology. This morning, it snowed last night in Edmonton, which was terrible timing because I was actually just bragging to my friend that there was no snow in Edmonton. We were Skyping and she's in Montreal and I'm like, Tori, how's the weather? She's like, yeah, we got snow. I'm like, whoa, guess who's got no snow? And I even held my laptop out to the window so she could see it, and it was all brown.
Wow.
And then, so, like covered in snow. So we have all kinds. So anyway, so I had to wear a toque into school today. A toque. Like, I've been wearing a spring jacket, although I still wore my spring jacket, but I had to put on a toque. So I wanted to take a picture, and I was going to use it for the podcast. I think I probably still will, because I look like, not that I look nice, you'll see. But I was trying to take a selfie in my mirror. This was my first mirror selfie ever. And it did not go well. I don't understand the physics of where you put your phone so as to not block your face. So
yeah,
the results were catastrophic. I will be posting it anyway, so you guys can see how terrible I am at taking mirror selfies.
Oh, I want to see the blooper reel so bad.
No, it's all blooper reel. There's no good. There's no good.
Speaking of spring jackets, how about that hot little segue?
We're officially the worst seguers ever. We announce all of our segues.
Speaking of this,
we congratulate our good segues, thus ruining them.
The weather is still not bad here in Ontario. It was like, I don't know, 11 degrees, 12 degrees today and really sunny, and now it's getting a little bit colder. But I went and bought a new spring jacket because I wanted one and because my old one was getting a little bit bummy. And I had it for 3 years, I think. And so I went out and I looked like everywhere. Like I just couldn't find the one that I wanted. And then so I finally kind of just settled on one. I still really like it, but it wasn't like exactly what I had in mind, but I still dig it. But anyways, the one thing I didn't like about it was that it kind of elastics at the back. So you get kind of like a 90s, like it's bunching in at the waist sort of thing. And then every time
90s are coming back though, Dave.
Yeah, maybe
I feel like you're at the front of a trend here.
I'll start wearing like really baggy shirts. I've been rewatching Friends on Netflix, by the way.
Beauty.
So I'm about the 90s.
I'm watching Buffy right now. Ooh, don't let me forget. I have a good TV recommendation for everyone if you don't want to watch a 90s show.
Okay.
But yeah, we're all about the 90s right now.
So
Hey, can you take a mirror selfie of you in your jacket for everyone?
yeah, I can do that. I'm about that.
We'll both have mirror selfies for an hour, and we'll see if Dave's any better at them.
I've done a couple in my day. I'll
Shut
make it happen.
up.
Yeah,
Under
you
what
know.
circumstances?
Oh, it's I don't know.
We don't want to know? Jeez. Goodness.
Well, sometimes I just like to practice in case anyone does want like a nice picture of me sometimes.
And it never puts you on a, oh no, I'm looking out my window, the cops pulled somebody over.
So anyways, I bought this jacket and it had the elastic thing at the back and at the bottom, and I didn't really like how it looked, so I hot rodded my jacket. This is a big win for me because I've never like done anything in like customizing clothes or anything like that. And I had some help from my mom, from our mom. But I pulled like the seam or whatever it is out of like the bottom, the elastic thing. So now it's all loose and it just kind of hangs there, and I love it.
So wait, how much did you spend on this jacket?
It was like it was on sale, so I got it for like $80.
So you spent $80 on a jacket that you then proceeded to cut up?
Yeah,
Huh.
that's
Did
exactly
that not
what
bum
I did.
you out a little bit, or are you just proud that you hot rodded it?
I'm proud that I hot rodded it. I
That's
made
good.
it.
Okay,
I made it
I
my
won't
own.
rain on your parade. That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I know you guys are probably thinking, well, why'd you buy something that you weren't like completely in love with? I really like this jacket. It's sweet. It looks cool. I like the color. It's got a nice collar. It's comfortable. It's like it's gonna deflect water. You know, it was just that waist thing. I would have taken it with the waist thing, but it was just like a slight thing that I would have changed if I could, and I did. You know?
Yeah, that's true. You took your destiny in your own hands.
I bought a guitar like 3 years ago, and I was kind of like, you know what would make it look cooler is if I changed the pick guard out on it, and that's what I did. You know?
So I needed to get a new winter coat like a few years back, and I knew what I wanted. And at the time, it was when everyone was walking around in those long black coats. It's all the girls were wearing. At Western, everyone tends to dress the exact same. Everybody was wearing the long black coats that like went down to their knees with the fur hoods. And I just, no offense to anyone that had one, just thought it looked like it. And I just refused.
I'm
and
picturing like a trench coat with like a fur hood. Is that
It's kind of, yeah.
okay?
I mean, it was the Westies were doing it. So picture it with like Lululemon's blonde hair and big sunglasses. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
So I knew that I wanted a bomber jacket. I knew I wanted it to have like come in at the waist. I wanted it to be a bomber jacket. I wanted to come in at the waist, come in at the wrists, and have like one of those kind of high collars. I wanted a bomber jacket, and I wanted it to be a winter coat. And I walked into Aritzia, was the first store I went to. The first rack I looked at had the exact jacket that I wanted.
Wow.
It was like the best shopping experience I've ever had in terms of, because like usually when I buy a lot of stuff, it's when I go shopping and it's an impromptu shopping trip and all of a sudden I love everything. And whenever I'm like, I need this item, I like legit can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's probably the only time in my life that I've been like, I really want just like a black bomber winter jacket. And I walked in and it was right there.
Now,
And
why
I
did
bought it and I still wear it all the time.
I know the jacket you're speaking of. It's a nice jacket.
I still love it. I'm always excited to get rid of it in the spring because that means it's spring. But every single fall when I transition from spring to winter jacket, I get so excited because I'm like, oh, I get to wear my winter jacket again. Mm-hmm.
That means you got a good jacket when you're excited to wear it. I know that
Yeah.
feeling. I'm
Yeah.
about that feeling.
Yeah, you're about it. And actually, this would probably be right about the time of year that it'd be a good time to stuff $20 in my pocket,
Yeah.
right?
You don't even need to explain that one. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, everybody knows, yeah. Anyway,
Free
sorry
money.
to show up your jacket store. Although, you worked for yours. That's good. I like it.
I looked everywhere, man. I could not find it. Like, all the jackets are like... I found a lot of leather jackets. And I don't think I'm a leather jacket guy.
You know what? I feel like leather jackets are high maintenance. This is the problem. Do you really want to maintain a jacket? It's like having to maintain shoes or boots. I resent it.
What kind of maintenance are you talking about? Like, how would you maintain a jacket? Like, I would literally do nothing.
I think you have to well, isn't there a Seinfeld where he gets it wet? Oh, that's suede.
Suede,
I think
yeah.
that there's things with leather. I don't know. Who has a leather jacket? Email us. Can you wear them when it's raining? And I think that sometimes if it's Jan Levs, as Evan would say, I think you have to rub cream and Mark was telling me the one time that... 'cause I
Who
was like,
says
my
Jen Leth? What kind of awful people are you hanging out with, Charlotte?
that was an Evanism. So...
All right, I take it back.
yeah. He got a new watch, and he's like, Jen Leth's. And and I was like, yeah, man, Jen Leth's. So I was complaining about my boots that they were like, whatever. And Mark was like, well, you're rubbing mink oil into them, right? And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, if these are leather boots, you got to rub mink oil into them. I'm like, okay, but where the hell am I going to find mink oil? Literally, we're in the lab. He's like, oh, I got some right here. And he had a tub of mink oil. And so we had a mink oil party where we all like did our boots and shoes with mink oil.
And how often you have to do that? Like every couple months?
Well, it kind of waterproofs them and stuff like that. So we did it, I don't know, we probably did it every like 6 months or so. We'd have a party and we'd all do all of our boots together.
That's kind of adorable.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were an adorable lab. Those were the days.
I know a guy who used to work on a mink farm, and you guys don't want to hear
out.
any of the stories from that.
I feel like minks, are they kind of like ferrets?
Yeah.
Ugh, I feel like I wouldn't like a ferret. Too rodenty.
Yeah.
And
Oh!
I think they stink. What?
Speaking of rodents.
Oh, yeah, great. We didn't even plan that segue.
Oh, I wasn't even going to mention the segue, Charlotte. I'm on a different level, baby. You got to catch up.
Don't pretend you're not on a different level.
I have a squirrel living in my house.
Hey, can we talk about who's going to edit this podcast? Because I noticed that bleeping out the swear word sucks, and I'm much less apt to swear if it's going to be me bleeping them out.
Let's talk about that. How many, can we count how many I had to bleep out for 2 podcasts ago?
Yeah. Well, hilarious. When I was writing them all down, I took a picture of my screen of my Word document. They went over 1 page. There was more than a page worth of curse words, and I sent it to Dave. And he's like, that's hilarious, but sad. You know, have any idea how long that's going to take me? Yeah. And I had to edit out maybe 5 when it was me and Fleur and Allie last week.
Right.
And every time I was listening back to it and one of us cursed, I'm like, for f***'s sakes, now I have to go back. Oh, and I used a duck noise, Dave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was good. I think I did a great job.
We
you
all know.
have to let me know what you think about the editing on the pod.
I will. I'm going to get Jasper to listen to it for me. So, back to business.
Right. Sorry, we really glazed over you having a squirrel in your house.
I have a squirrel living in my house. I went on tour with my band because that's just what I do.
How you roll.
We went to Florida last week and played a string of dates, as they say. And it was awesome, and it was warm, and it was wonderful. And then when I get back, things are a little different in the house. Things are a little bit different. There's a lot of mouse traps around. My cat's food Tupperware is gone. Like, it's just gone. And my cat's food is downstairs. And I thought we'd been invaded by mice because we were having mice problems before. And then I go to my roommate, and I'm like, are we being invaded by mice? He goes, no, there's a squirrel in the house. And this is the day after we drove back from Florida in one shot. No joke. We were on the road for like 26 hours.
Good God.
We kind of got f***ed over at our hotel. The guy running it was kind of a scumbag, and he wanted to get a lot of money out of us. So we were just like, well, whatever. And then as we were looking for another hotel, we were like, we might as well just drive it all in one shot. So anyways, day I'm back from a 26-hour drive, my roommate tells me that there's a squirrel in the house. A squirrel.
Horrible.
A squirrel in the house. Like, I mean, I couldn't even. Like, I'm totally white girling it right now. Like, I just could not even.
Very basic of you.
I know. I'm pretty basic sometimes. So, I learned that the squirrel tore apart, like, literally tore his way into my cat's, like, Tupperware container of food. So this thing's been in my room.
Wait, what do you mean tore into it? Like, took the lid off or, like, bit through the plastic?
He just bit through the plastic. He chewed through it.
Shut up. Squirrels can do that?
For real, yeah.
That's insane.
I know.
That's scary as
I know. That's the thing, right? This thing is in my home. It's been in my room. It could come in and kill me in the night. I don't like. That's not a legitimate.
And it's got to be fat as at this point too. If it ate all Oliver's food.
I'm not sure it ate all of it, but hang on. I'm getting to a good part of the squirrel story. Also,
we're not even at the good part. Wow.
Animal lovers. Well, it's nothing's bad has happened yet. So I'm calling like the exterminators, and they need word from the landlord, and my landlord is in Jamaica right now, which is just wonderful. So we can't get them in.
Is.
Oh my god, unbelievable. So there's a hole in like the drywall upstairs where I suspected he might have been getting his little squirrel ass in. So I put a bookcase in front of it, and this morning, to my great triumph, I heard him scratching at it. I was like, so now this little guy is eating away at the drywall. He's trying to like eat himself a new hole in the wall. But it's good.
God.
Because that means he's getting desperate. He's getting hungry. But animal lovers, I don't want him to die. Mostly because, I mean, sure, he's a squirrel and he should live, whatever. But mostly because then we're going to have to get him out of there. Because otherwise he's...
Yeah, you're going to have a dead squirrel in your wall. That's
dead
disgusting.
Squirrel in the wall. So that's... You know what's
Here's my question. How did it get between the outdoors and your drywall? Like, shouldn't there be a barrier there?
What I'm thinking, like, he couldn't have run in through the door because, someone would have noticed. And it's the wintertime. It's not like we're leaving the doors open or whatever. So we have
and what the can you imagine, like, getting even if you leave the door open and bring groceries in for 2 seconds, all of a sudden a squirrel just busts in your, like, what the did a squirrel just run into my house? Is that a squirrel? Like, that would not happen.
Did you just see a squirrel? Nah.
No, it couldn't have been.
Couldn't have been a squirrel. You know what's unnerving is walking into your room and finding squirrel shit on your floor.
Ew, what does that look like?
It looks like Oliver's cat food, frankly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they're just little hard pellets. But you're just like, he was here. He was where I sleep.
Yeah.
Like walking around and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the big question. This is the first question I asked. What's Oliver doing? Like, is Oliver stressed out? Is Oliver trying to attack the squirrel? Like, he's an animal. One would think he's aware of this squirrel.
Charlotte, I would like to answer your question with another question. How do you think Oliver's taking it?
I honestly thought he'd be really freaked out. I picture Izzy hiding under the bed all day if a squirrel busted into my apartment.
Yeah.
But apparently you said he's hunky-dory.
He's wonderful. He has displayed no reactions whatsoever. When I heard it scratching this morning, he perked up and he was creeping up the stairs to go and investigate. But that's
Good
and
for
I
him.
think
You should...
I think if he saw the squirrel, I don't know. Like, he could get freaked out, but he's a big guy. He's bigger than a squirrel.
That's what I think. Like, does he go protective or what?
I honestly don't know. I know he doesn't chase mice.
I think that, yeah, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think conflict ever would have arisen between him and Izzy if it wasn't for him. I think that he's the one that attacked her.
He's the bag.
Yeah, I'm not being protective of my little Isabel. I don't think that she would have done it.
Right.
I think that he's the
Yeah. I'm sure.
So I don't know. But maybe he has to feel threatened to a certain extent. Maybe that's why he doesn't attack the mice. He's like, they're not bothering me. But maybe the squirrel does bother him.
I would love to see Oliver dummy a squirrel. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, after all the hell he put me through with Izzy, at least attack this squirrel, Oliver. Mm-hmm. What in the hell?
So we got it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, carry on.
We have a trap set up for him. He's still in the wall right now, but I know he can get out into the pantry. There's like holes in the ceiling there. And so the trap is literally right outside the pantry. So I'm not sure that's the first thing he'll go for.
Why are there holes in your ceiling?
It's like a sort of pantry roof. Like it's just kind of cobbled together, wood and shit.
Can I SMH your landlord? I mean, or do you SMH at somebody? No, you know what? I'm 30. I'm going to tisk your landlord.
Yeah. And I mean, I assume the squirrel got in through the crawl space. We have a crawl space in the house, and there must be a way for him to get into the drywall from there. So there's probably a hole under the deck that he gnawed his way through, or I don't know, something like that.
God, this guy's tenacious.
Yeah. He was
you
probably
just
shut
this guy down before he breathes, because this is like a super squirrel.
I know. But like I said, landlord Jamaica, people for liability reasons, the exterminators can't come on the property until the landlord gives them the okay.
How long is he in Jamaica? I feel like you've been home for quite a while.
He left like what's today, the 20th? Like 6 days ago. So he'll probably be there another week at least.
Good God.
I know.
Why? Who goes to Jamaica for 2 weeks?
It's good to be a landlord.
Yeah. Where's the hole? Is it in your bedroom, or where is this hole upstairs?
No, it's outside in like the hallway that connects all 3 bedrooms, which is
that's
wonderful.
Good. At least that's neutral zone.
Neutral zone indeed.
Our parents also have a squirrel of sorts. Our cat, Frankie, who is a long-haired cat, she had all of these burrs all over her. Like, not burrs, but clumps of hair that, I don't know, she's getting old. I don't know, we figured out how old she was the other day.
14?
I got told her when I was 16, so she's 14, 13. Frankie's 13. Anyway, and so we don't really know what's going on, but she has clumps of hair all over the place, like, especially back towards, like, her hindquarters, like, kind of in between her stomach and her bum. And, we, like, Mom and I were trying to, like, you try to brush them out and she attacks you because, like, obviously it hurts. And so Mom and I would try to cut it out at one point, like, obviously without, like, getting close to her skin. But we got some off, but obviously you can only get so close. So finally we were just like, we're going to, like, when I say we, sorry, Mom, the royal we. Mom had to bring her to the vet, and I assume the vet anesthetized her. And then because I was like, Mom, she's just going to have to get shaved. Like, I don't know, this is right down, like, to the skin. Like, there's no getting around this. I don't think there's any brushing this out. And so Mom sent me a hilarious picture the other day because Frankie's been shaved, leaving the hair completely on her head, tail, and legs. So her big bushy tail, Mom says she looks like a squirrel.
She looks hilarious. She looks like an alien.
I'm disappointed that I've only had one picture. I want more.
It looks like
this is a really missed opportunity.
It looks like her head does not belong on her body. Like she looks like some sort of Photoshop.
I think it's going to be hilarious, even more hilarious, as the hair starts to grow in.
Yeah, and she starts to get all kind of like buzz cut-y looking.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's about time we hear from our lady, and when we come back, let's do some catch up.
Yeah.
You're listening to Dave and Charlotte's Great Canadian Podcast.
While you were gone, I was really good at let's hear from our lady, and when we come back, we'll talk about blah, blah, blah. After this, I really upped my game in your absence, Dave.
After this?
No, that's what I would say. Like, we're going to hear from our lady, and we'll talk about this when we come back. That sort of thing.
I kind of like the less formal approach. Like, just kind of, she just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't even know what came over me. I was just kind of turned into radio lady. I'm sure it wasn't good.
Let's do it once we get some advertising. And if people want to advertise with us, it has to be a business that's going to give us a lot of free shit. So if that's the kind of business that you run, then let's talk.
We would accept potato chip companies.
Yeah.
Any alcohol.
Yeah.
Hamburgers. Fast food, really, of any nature.
Mm-hmm.
And clothing. I take free clothes any day.
I take free clothes, like a jacket company, so I could mod them and then sell them on the internet. Quick follow up. I shot some guns in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And it was awesome, and that's all I really have to say.
What kind of gun? Like, don't tell me the model because I'm not going to know what the hell that is.
I did a magazine from or a clip, maybe you'd call it, from a Sig Sauer, which is a German-made handgun. That was kind of neat. I picked a Nazi zombie as a target, obviously, and I got him in the eyes, got him in the nose, got him in the face, and he was making like a little sort of, when you tell someone that's great with your hand, like that hand sign he's doing with one of his hands. And I tried to get it in the little hole between his forefinger and his thumb, and I couldn't do it, so I'm kind of pissed about that. And I shot a .50 caliber sniper rifle.
Jeez.
Which was awesome.
Was it awesome?
It was awesome. You have like a little laser sight and everything, and then you got to put your cheek up against it to like brace for like a little bit. It's mounted, so there's not like a whole heck of a lot of recoil, but still. And you have to put your cheek up on this like rest that's on the gun, and the guy goes, "Make sure you're up there nice and far and nice and firm, otherwise it's gonna rip your cheek off."
Jeez.
That's all he says. You're like, "Great, all right, let's do this." My cheek is in place still, so.
Honestly, 0% of me ever wants to shoot again. Ever.
Really?
Ever.
I'm not even gonna say it's like it's liberating, cathartic, any of that crap. I just thought it was fun, you know.
Have you seen the video of the 9-year-old girl who's shooting an Uzi?
Oh my god, no! Like the one who killed her instructor?
Yeah, there's
No.
a video from like literally 2 minutes before she killed him, shooting this frickin' Uzi.
Oh my god.
And then, if you guys don't know, she basically lost control of the Uzi and shot him in the head.
Of course she did, because she's 9 years old.
You know what gets me? I mean, I'm sure this is what gets everyone about that story. Is like that girl is now going to live the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Like, she's 9. She knows that she shot that man.
Yeah.
There was probably blood everywhere. Like,
Oh
that's
my God.
honestly, like, what? Like, everyone involved in that situation is at fault for that. Like, that's, come on.
Yeah. At the risk of saying something potentially insensitive, I think that guy's death was somewhat Darwinian in nature, because he gave a 9-year-old an Uzi that was set on full automatic. You know?
I mean, I just can't even begin to delve into the psyche of any of the people involved in that situation.
Just a terrible, terrible decision to make.
Honestly, they're unlike a lot of terrible decisions involved in that whole day, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe if she was one of those like tough talking little 9-year-old kids from like Texas who wears like overalls and nothing else, just like, yeah, I shot my first rat when I was 5 years old. I've been hunting elk with my old pa since I was 7. I would trust that kid with an Uzi on full-automatic, and I would still stand way the back, because if I said something he didn't like he might.
You know what? I wouldn't trust a 30-year-old dude who's been in the military his whole life with an Uzi. Like, why is an Uzi even a thing? I read once that no guns should be that automatic because it should take time to decide whether you want to murder someone. And whether or not you consider it murder, I realize that's a tough thing to say for people in the military who are defending our freedom and defending their own lives. But like, and let's not extend this to the military at all. Let's just say for personal use that like you should have to take I don't know how long it takes to load a gun. That's not an automatic, but like, let's say it's between 5 and 20 seconds. I think that's a reasonable amount of time to decide whether you want to shoot somebody. No?
Yeah.
I think you should spend 20 seconds thinking about whether this is something you really want to do.
I mean, I'd be interested to know, like, I don't know, the psychology of people who shoot guns and, like who, you know, whether by choice or like whatever, and how, I don't know, shooting different guns affects them.
I feel like shooting guns is more of a thing out here. Like, people go to, like, shooting ranges for fun. I'm pretty sure there's a shooting range in the West Edmonton Mall. And I think, like, someone got a gun for their birthday. I feel like in Ontario, you just do not hear about that.
No.
That just doesn't happen.
I heard an interesting factoid that, like, most, at least in, like, World War I and World War II, most of the rounds fired are, like, intended to miss. Most of like the infantrymen are just kind of shooting just to shoot because they really don't want to kill anybody.
And like to get like, I don't know, I guess keep people's heads down or whatever to like make, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
What do they say? Give me some cover.
Suppression fire to suppress the enemy. Yeah.
Sure.
Anyone who's played like a gun shooting video game would know that.
Again, I have not, because they stress me out way too much. Even from the first time Doom came out, I just spin in circles because I'm constantly like, who's behind me? Oh my God, who's behind me? Oh my God, who's behind me? Oh my God, someone's behind me. Who's behind me? I can't do it.
Oh my God, it's one of those invisible pink monsters.
Yeah, those guys are scary.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
I've never been good at those first-person shooter games, so I'm constantly terrified about who's behind me.
I peaked with Unreal Tournament. That was the peak of my my first-person shooter finesse, and I delved somewhat into like Unreal 4, and I think it was Unreal Tournament 4. And a little bit of like, Call of Duty and Modern Warfare. And, GoldenEye. Charlotte, did you ever play GoldenEye?
Yeah, again, I sucked at it. I sucked at Halo.
Yeah.
Remember, have we talked about it on the podcast, getting dummied by Richard at Halo?
Yeah, we've touched on that. Yeah. It was,
Just so bad. The best part of Halo was capture the flag, though, when we get in the warthogs and stuff like that. And remember, that was really fun.
That was good times. Yeah, I think we've said this before, but yeah, like our brother Richard would literally say, if you guys will just play against me, it'll be all of you against me, and you guys can all have rocket launchers, and I'll have like a pistol. And we'd be like, no.
And you can all be invisible.
Yeah, because then it'll be even more humiliating when you just whomp all of our asses. Yeah. It's not happening. Yeah. So moving on, Charlotte, we discovered that Ryan Tedder's kind of a Superman last week.
We really did. So I realized this after that we really got into a Ryan Tedder love fest after we stopped the podcast. Because we were talking about who wrote and originally produced XO. And actually, Dave, we covered this with Allie and Fleur last week.
Ooh.
That it was Ryan Tedder, Terry Snesh, and Beyonce. And, Beyonce. Sorry, again, that reminds me of the TV show I want to plug. Anyway, and then Dave and I, so we looked that up. And then we were like, man, Ryan Tedder, what doesn't he do? So I looked him up. Ryan Benjamin Tedder, born June 29th. June baby. Great month.
Love it.
1979. Frontman of One Republic. I feel like everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Has written for Madonna, U2, Adele, Beyonce, Maroon 5, Ellie Goulding, Kelly Clarkson, Leona Lewis, Gavin DeGraw, One Direction, James Blunt, Taylor Swift, and more. He was named the Undercover King of Pop in 2014 by Billboard, which I feel like is that's really covers our sentiments about Ryan Tedder, the Undercover King of Pop. And he has wrote or co-wrote, among many others, Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis, Halo by Beyonce, Battlefield by Jordan Sparks, Rumor Has It by Adele, Ghost by Ella Henderson, and a previous TOP song of the day on this podcast, Happy by Leona Lewis.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan, you're really killing it, bud.
And, man, Ryan Tedder, because I know you're going to listen to this one day, because he's going to be sitting around, he's going to be like, I wonder what kind of sweet podcast I can listen to. And then someone's going to be like, hey, Ryan, man, you should listen to the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Shaw. He's going to be like, oh, yeah. And that's why I'm not Ryan Tedder, because that's what happens when I try and sound like Ryan Tedder. And I wanted to say you have an awesome voice, Ryan Tedder. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, he's got the voice of an angel, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he sings on Fighter. I think this is how Ryan Tedder originally came up.
Yeah.
Which was another TOP song of the day.
Sort of a... Do you remember that song Feel Again by One Republic, Charlotte? It was kind of like... It wasn't one of their big hits, but it was... Yeah, good.
That got used to advertise some sort of like sandals or something like that. So now I just think of being on a beach down south whenever I hear that song.
That's a criticism I've heard of One Republic in the past, is that they're kind of like an advertisement band. Like their songs always sound like... you're seeing an advertisement for like Expedia or like Fido or Chevy or something like that.
I really liked Good Life. I was into that song for a long time because my life was pretty good when that song came out. So it was kind of my theme song for a while.
And you've gone downhill since then.
Yeah, but I feel bad because I haven't liked that many One Republic songs. I feel like I like a lot more Ryan Tedder songs that he secretly writes.
Right. Yeah. I feel that.
Than One Republic necessarily.
I liked, what was that, The Love Runs Out, that one that they just put out a little while ago.
That was a good one.
I enjoyed that song, yeah.
That's a good one. And then I think they had another good one that's fairly recent that I really enjoyed. I'll look it up while we talk.
All right.
Way
to go, Ryan.
Can I really quickly, because I keep on bringing it up and I don't want to forget to talk about, and Counting Stars. That's a great song.
It's a good song.
Then I heard... I went to a Matchbox 20 concert not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, and they covered that song, and they did an amazing job of it.
Really?
Amazing. Oh, I Lived. That's the song. Do you know that song by One Republic?
No.
Really great.
Cool.
It'll be a TOP song of the day. I guarantee it.
I'm still just like, I can't. Okay, anytime I think of Matchbox 20, I think of Rob Thomas, obviously. And I always just picture
Rob
him.
Thomas is a fox, just so everyone knows. That.
Oh, Charlotte's about Rob Thomas. And I always picture him.
All
with,
girls
like,
are about Rob Thomas.
I don't know. I guess he's
Especially
a good
girls
guy.
of a certain age. I think girls of my age.
Right. But man, like, okay, so I always picture him with, like, you know, the way he is, which is always with some sort of loud shirt, earrings, and, like, you know,
Leather
some
bracelets.
and that kind of shag haircut he does. But man,
Little bit
Rob
sweaty.
Thomas, a little bit sweaty, but like that voice, like,
And man, in concert, you know I love this when people really give it their all. It's why one of the reasons I love Celine so much, because she just
Right.
like throws her soul into everything she's singing. I feel like Taylor Swift does the same. And you watch, I don't even care if you're a Matchbox 20 fan, it's impossible to not be moved by Rob Thomas. Like, he sings with the passion of 1,000 Fiery Suns. Like, he gives it his all.
Rob Thomas, Ryan Tedder, favorites of the Great Canadian Podcast. GreatCanadianPod at gmail.com, by the way, if you guys want to agree with us about Ryan and Rob.
Don't disagree. That's bad news.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Dave, do we even have time to talk about, let's talk about quickly where you're going, because I need to also know, are we going to be able to podcast while you are where you're going?
I've considered this, so this coming Monday, this will probably be out by the time that comes around. I'm going to San Francisco for 2 weeks.
I thought you were going for 3 weeks.
And after the 2 weeks in San Francisco, I'm coming back, and then I'm leaving again because we're going on tour again.
Where are you going this time?
The Midwest. We're going to Wisconsin, Illinois, and Ohio. We have a string of dates.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
That'll be nice. It'll be springtime. That'll be beautiful.
Oh, it'll be amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. And it's really beautiful to drive through those states. It's beautiful to drive anywhere in the states, frankly. Maybe not the desert so much, but yeah, like in the like in Iowa and like, I don't know, Delaware and stuff like that. There's so many, like, it's so, you're going up and down elevations all the time, and there's lots of stuff to look at, a lot of quaint little towns. It's cool.
Delightful.
So I've thought about this, and I was just telling Charlotte before the podcast began, I just bought an American phone plan so I can continue to text all my friends while I'm in the United States. And I will be really close to a recording apparatus. So the answer is, Charlotte, yes. We can continue to pod when I'm in San Francisco.
And can we interview our first musical act while you're down there? Can you
we'll see.
orchestrate that, Davo?
We will see. I can't promise anything, but we'll see.
I think it would be delightful. Or at least a member of a musical act.
Yeah. We'll see. Again, no promises, but I'll see what I can do.
I think it's good because we're being mysterious. People wonder what musical act.
Who
Who
are
do
they
they know
talking
in
about?
San Fran? Are you excited, Dave? I've always wanted to go to San Francisco, and I'm very jealous that you're going.
Yeah, I've same. Like, it's just a really well-known city, and I'm so glad I'm going to get to check it out. Yeah.
What's the weather going to be like? Have you checked that out?
Not really, although I've been hearing a lot about it, obviously. It's supposed to be like just, beautiful during the days. It gets a little chilly at night. I would imagine it falls down to like, between 10 and 15 degrees, something like that.
Yeah.
Or as they call it in San Fran, 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
I haven't the foggiest.
No.
I will say that there's a big conference, Experimental Biology, which I'm going to in Boston. And it's at this time of year every year, but every other year it's in San Diego. And you always think, like, San Diego, yeah, it's going to be hot, but it's not hot. Like, we always end up wearing, you bring a pair of shorts and a couple T-shirts, but
Right.
for the most part, you're wearing a jacket and pants.
Yeah. I could see it.
But we're also at the conference all day, so that's probably the sad thing. We're usually just out at night.
What time of year were you going there?
This time, end of March, early April.
Yeah, I could see it. I went to San Diego last year, and it was beautiful, but that was in June, too, so.
Yeah. Well, so you can give us all sorts of updates. We'll be able to feel your tan coming through the airwaves.
Oh, it's already begun, baby. I got that Florida base tan set up, so I'm going to be like SPF 20, 25, playing it fast and loose. Tanning lotions, not even sunscreen. I thought you'd be picking up on this. Is this not landing?
Can you sense the face I'm making as I stare at the microphone? As if you can
It's one of
feel
those.
my waves of anger, combo jealousy.
Well, that makes me feel much better.
Okay, I want to talk about something happy other than the fact that I'm white as and cold as Actually, I had to have a bath when I got home today because I was freezing. It's not even cold outside here. It's like +2, but I was just cold for some reason, so I had to have a bath.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to talk about something happy. I want to talk about Unbreakable. They're alive, damn it. It's a miracle. Do you know what I'm singing?
Not even a little bit.
I'm singing a section of the theme song to Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Do you know this TV show, David?
No, not even a little bit.
Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. People of the world, if you are not watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix, you need to start doing that now.
Tell me
It's
about
the best. So it's a Tina Fey produces this show.
it. Oh my God.
And it's starring Ellie. Oh, I just had it. Damn it. Ellie Kemper. That's her last name. She is Erin from The Office.
Oh, okay.
She's in Bridesmaids. I forget her character's name in Bridesmaids, but she's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Right.
And she plays this girl, Kimmy Schmidt, who was kidnapped by this like crazy preacher man who told her and 3 other women that it was the apocalypse, and he puts them in a bunker.
Okay.
And basically they're in the bunker for I think something like 15 years. I think it's the 90s. Or they went in the 90s. So
right.
then they get discovered. A SWAT team comes in and breaks them out. And then they end up going to New York to be interviewed by Matt Lauer. And they're all going to go back to Indiana, which is where they were. And Kimmy decides she's going to stay in New York and live her life in New York. But she doesn't know anything about the world because she's been in this bunker for 15 years. So she still uses like 90s slang and wears 90s clothes, and she doesn't understand like how the world works. And it's honestly hilarious. And
This
it
sounds
is the
amazing.
funniest show. And she is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's like the most heartwarming and inspirational because it sounds like kind of a roll your eye, an SMH kind of show, but she just like, I don't know, she's like, we need to just be unbreakable, and I don't know, it's combo hilarious. It's like 90% hilarious, 10% heartwarming.
All right. Man,
And apparently almost all the cast and crew is from 30 Rock. It's almost the exact same crew. And she gets a job nannying for this really crazy wealthy lady who was played by Jane Krakowski, who was
oh, yeah, Jenna
Maroney on 30 Rock.
Nice. Man, Tina Fey, like, she just has all of my faith.
Yeah. Well,
like,
that's
she's
what
never not hilarious.
I watched interviews with Jane Krakowski and Ellie Kemper because I just can't get enough. And there's only 13 episodes, so I'm traumatized. I know I'm just going to finish it and then start season 1 all over again.
Right.
But they both said that Tina called them and they were like, honestly, yes, whatever. I don't know what you're about to say, but yes, that when Tina Fey calls you, you just say okay. So it's honestly a great. I heartily recommend it.
Right on. Well, okay, so it's almost time for us to wrap it up, and that's good because I want to go watch this show now.
Are you going to?
Maybe tonight feels more like a movie night. I gotta do some stuff and then I go get some food. But we'll see.
You should watch one episode because I want you to see hear the auto-tuned intro. It's like I forget what news item it was where they auto-tuned some person like describing what had happened, like some crazy neighbor.
Oh my god! And it's like that.
Yeah, that's the intro, and that's what they're auto-tuning him going, "Unbreakable, they alive, damn it." It's a miracle. It's amazing. There's
right.
like a full version of the song on YouTube too that you can listen to. It's really
That
good.
sounds just wonderful.
It's all so good. And then at the end of the intro, there's backup singers and they go, "Ooh, damn it." It's good. Really good.
All right. Well, now I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be. Honestly, it's so good. But don't get too hyped up because there's only 13 episodes. But they've already renewed it for season 2.
Beautiful.
Netflix, you guys.
Well,
Dave, welcome back.
thank you. And I'll talk to you again. And when I do, I'll be in sunny San Fran.
Actually, yeah, we're going to need to figure out when we're going to talk next, because as of Saturday, I'm going to be in snowy Boston.
Ooh, do you have an international phone plan too?
No, I'm going to get one, I think.
Ooh, all right. So we can just text as we normally would.
Yeah, that's true.
That's exciting.
Maybe we can get in a quick podcast. When do you get there? Monday?
Monday, yeah.
Maybe we can get in a quick podcast before I go to Boston.
What, like tomorrow? Didn't you say
No,
you
I go
leave?
to podcast next Boston. Next Boston. I don't leave till next Boston. Next Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
Today's
totally.
Friday, people. You guys don't know that. It's
Yeah, we can do
Monday
that.
for all of you. Unless you're listening on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But we're recording this on a Friday.
Which is okay. You
It's
should
okay.
be catching the Canadian podcast as soon as it comes out. But
Obviously.
like whatever, right? Like whatever you want to do.
Whatever.
It's cool.
All
Okay.
right, Dave. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Great Canadian podcast. Good talking to you, Cheryl. Great Canadian podcast episode. What is this? 11? 12?
I want to say this is 11, but I'm not entirely sure.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. For listening to us ramble for 60 minutes and upwards.
Hey, and send us an email. Let us know what you thought of the All Ladies podcast last week.
I will be sending emails as soon as Jasper listens to a Great Canadian Pod at gmail.com.
Wait, why are you not going to listen to it? You're just going to be Jasper, listen to it, and report back?
I'll get the Cliff Notes.
It's the Great Canadian Podcast with Dave and Charlotte.